Hello guys and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl, it's the us the A. You already know. If you don't know yet, Hansi Honku, you are new to this channel, so please go down and hit that red subscribe button to become part of this very beautiful family. So today we are going to be talking about something which is very important, yet something which is really unspoken in the African society. It is something that goes on with new moms, first time moms, second time moms, third time moms. It doesn't matter. It is something that affects almost everybody who has a baby. So if you've not had a baby before and you want to prepare yourself to have a baby, or you're trying to prepare yourself to have a baby, this is a topic that you should actually listen to the end. And if you just had a baby maybe a day ago, 2 days ago, this is a topic that you should, or a month ago, or this is something that you should actually listen to right up to the end. So I want to talk today about anxiety and postpartum depression. This is something that in the African context, a lot of people don't talk about it. It's always like now white man sick. Depression as a whole, so many Africans don't consider it like something that affects black people. But if you are still of that school of thought that thinks that depression does not affect black people, or that we are immune to depression, is white man sick, ask your grandparents, ask your parents if they ever know somebody who has committed suicide. They would know someone who has taken away their lives. And before someone takes away their lives, it is a build-up of situations. It's a build-up of situations. That means that person was actually depressed before all of that happened. So that means that we Africans, we black people, equally get depressed. So don't tell yourself that you, or don't try to subdue that feeling when you start feeling it. When you start having to go through it, or when you start feeling depressed, don't subdue it. Talk to somebody, get help. It is for real. Postpartum depression is for real. Anxiety. Okay, most frequently, before I had my baby, first of all, I was always very scared of the unknown, like most of you guys who have not had babies. It's easy to be scared of the unknown. You're scared of labor, you're scared of the pain, you're scared of how you're going to take care of the baby, you're scared of everything that you don't know yet, but you're supposed to have a baby under your control. You're scared of so many things that might pile up and lead to anxiety after you've had the baby. Anxiety mostly always comes between the first and second week, when you just had the baby, like the overwhelming feeling of everything. You're deprived of sleep, the baby is crying, you don't know what to do in certain circumstances, the baby falls sick, you start getting some strange things on the baby's body. And yes, if you want to know, I got anxiety during my first and second week. Like, my God, it is overwhelming. First of all, I some days went by and I had not had good night's sleep for about 5 days in a row. And then the baby had this tummy issue that really disturbs newborns around the ages of 1 week to 2 weeks. They always have a tummy problem, which is due to colic or a lot of air in their tummy. That's something that I equally came to learn about when I only had the baby. Like, it was just too much. The feeling is just too much. And if you have help, if you are someone who has help, who has someone living with you after you've had the baby, it's pretty much easy to go about with that, because probably you have somebody who will help rush the baby's cot if the baby is crying. But if you are alone and you just had a baby, especially if you are a first-time mom, you might get anxiety. You might get this anxious feeling that makes you feel like, oh my God, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, this is too much on me. And sometimes you might even cry. I mean, there were days that I sat, I held the baby, she was crying. I didn't even know what to do. I cried. And there is one of my neighbors who equally has a baby, who had a baby almost the same times when I had a baby. Like, when I was discussing with her, she equally told me that, yeah, when her baby equally had colic or tummy issues, she struggled to calm the baby down. The baby kept crying and she just burst into tears. Those things are normal. So if you feel anxiety when you just had a baby, you are not abnormal because you're African. Those things happen. Those things happen. If something like that happens to you, like you find yourself always feeling depressed, always feeling like, oh my God, what did I do? I don't feel this is right. Like, I cannot do this again on my own. I cannot do this. I need help and stuff. Talk to somebody. If you have your partner, talk to your partner. Explain how you feel to them. Just that pat on the back to tell you that this is okay, you're going to be fine, will actually help you. Talk to your partner. Talk to your friend that you trust, or call your parents, call your mother-in-law, and talk to them. Explain to them what you feel. I'm saying this, I'm still feeling the weight of it. Lots of you guys don't know how this is, but if you are a first-time mom, you have to prepare yourself for this, especially if you're not going to be having help. If you're having a child out of Cameroon or out of your country of origin, where you might just be with your husband, you might experience anxiety for these first weeks when the baby just comes. You might experience anxiety. This is something which is so serious. Like, my God, I am used to waking up in the morning, taking my breakfast, going to work, coming back in the evening, my husband as well. And bear you in mind, anxiety and postpartum depression is not only for the woman, it's not only for the mother. It can equally go both sides. For you and your husband, it can equally go both sides. It's something that is weighing on your shoulders, like both of you carry that burden. Sometimes it's more weighing on the side of the mother because it is you who breastfeeds and stuff like that, but it can equally weigh on your husband because sometimes, like, I used to express breast milk and keep in the fridge, so my husband has to breastfeed the child sometimes at night. He has to equally wake up, go to the fridge, get the breast milk, heat it for the baby. So sometimes equally it gets overwhelming, like the baby is crying, I don't know what to do, she doesn't want to take breast milk, she doesn't want to do anything, and we are just confused. Like, a lot of things just happen at that point, and when it's time to sleep, everybody just passes out. So if you have that feeling of anxiety after you've had a baby, then please talk to somebody. Talk to your siblings. Sit down, talk to them, and just what they will tell you, like, it's okay, you're going to be fine, I'm sorry, take it easy on yourself, try to get rest when the baby is sleeping. All of those things that they are going to tell you are equally going to help you, and they are going to help you subdue that anxiety. It is not something that happens only to white people. It affects everybody. So if you are supposed to have a child, or if you are looking forward to having a child, and you have not considered the fact that you might get anxiety or depressed, or you have not tried to arrange every circumstance after you had the baby so that you might not get depressed, then you should start thinking of this, because anxiety and postpartum depression are very real. You know, they might have given a white man name, you know, anxiety and postpartum depression. Okay, now white man named them, but probably our parents had another way of explaining it. But if you talk to your parents, they're going to tell you that maybe when they had you and your elder sister was still a toddler, or your elder brother was still a toddler, they had some moments that they felt like they should give up, like, I should just abandon the child and go. That is why you see people give birth to babies and abandon them, just carry them and abandon them somewhere. Like, you see somebody have a child, stays with that child, and then after a while they just carry the child, package the child, and go and abandon the child somewhere. Like, just give it to a nephew and just leave it there and go away. You don't know, people suffer from this depression, especially people who have had babies without their partners around them to support them. The depression comes in when you start feeling like, okay, I should isolate myself, like, I don't feel this thing is going again, I don't feel like I was ready to have this baby, I feel like I'm not a woman, I feel like I'm not a good mother. And then the baby starts crying and you're too tired to pick the baby up, you're too tired to breastfeed the baby, and you just let the baby cry. If you are experiencing all of these things, sister, you are going through postpartum depression. If you're feeling overwhelmed by the fact that you have a toddler and you have a crying baby, you're feeling overwhelmed and you feel like, oh my God, I cannot do this again, you're going through postpartum depression. That is how it is called. So talk to somebody, seek advice from somebody, listen to people, watch tapes, watch videos on YouTube, read books to try and subdue that anxiety, because it is for real. Trust me, it is for real. And you see women, it is so hard on some people. They commit suicide. It is that bad. It is that bad. It's just that sometimes maybe in our African context, our parents used to give another name to this postpartum depression and anxiety. But if I did not go through this anxiety phase, like, I will not believe that it actually exists. But guys, this is for real. This thing actually exists. I have a couple of friends who have had babies without their husbands, and it is not a good experience. It is not a good experience. Depression is for real. Depression is for real. And I always trust that when they talk to somebody about it, when they are going through it, they feel relieved. So try and talk to somebody. Note that postpartum depression can lead to so many things. It can lead to you even not liking your baby. It can lead to you staying away from your husband, like your partner, just sending your partner away because you feel that. That's why I used to hear, when I was not married, when I didn't have a baby, I used to hear people say, I no want catch papa for my pikin again. That was born my pikin. I no want catch. I no want catch the papa for the pikin again, because if I no want to get anything for doing, like the pikin they over worry me. The pikin not really worry me. Like, you start hearing all of those things. Know that that person is depressed. And if you have a relative who talks like that, call them forth and talk to them. Try and advise them. Try and be there for them. If you had a relative or a friend who had a baby, see, that 3 minute way you will visit, she don't talk with you don't know what you've done to them. It actually takes them, relieves them of that stress. It actually takes them off that stress, off that hook. It deviates their mind for a moment from the baby crying, oh, the baby did not burp, the baby has not pooped today, and all of those things that surrounds their mind. As I was saying, I'm someone who has always been used to waking up in the morning, I take my bath, I get breakfast, I go to work, and I come back, and that has been my routine. Weekends, maybe I go out, have fun, and come back. But my God, everything changed when I had a baby. Everything changed. I don't sleep till about 4 a.m. Imagine someone who used to sleep at 9 p.m. I don't sleep till about 4 a.m. I wake up in the morning at about 9 a.m. I have to breastfeed her. I have to give her her bath. I have to make sure that she has stool. I have to make sure that she's fine, check her temperature, be sure that she's okay, she's fine and everything. And then maybe I go back to sleep at about 10:30 and 10:30 a.m. and then she is crying at 11. And I'm alone in the house. And I wake up, I breastfeed her, 11 o'clock, 12:30, she's up, she's crying, and she's just fuzzy. And it is very, 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 very real. And it is something that can make you to just keep the baby, and just if you've not tried, if you've not actually told yourself, this is my baby and this is love that I have for my baby, it doesn't mean that you hate your baby or you despise your baby. If you start feeling like, my God, I cannot do this again, let her just cry, I will not give her breast, let her just cry, you start feeling like, I cannot do this again, I cannot do this again. Sister, you need help. Talk to somebody. Talk to somebody. Postpartum depression is real. Postpartum depression is very real. Talk to your sisters who have had babies. Visit your friends who have had babies. Encourage them. Be there for them. Encourage them. Be there for them. If you have the means, spend a night with them and help them with the baby. You don't know what that is going to do for them. I remember when my elder sister had my nephew, I went to Bamenda. Then I had not really known a lot about babies. I'm a last child, like I'm a last born. I've never really taken care of any baby before, like baby, like back to back. Wake up in the morning, do this for the baby, do this for the baby. And you know that in some cases you have to actually do the laundry. We are fortunate that some people now in the developed world, you have machines that can wash your baby's clothes. But where people don't have machines, they actually have to steep the baby's napkins, wash, dry, before they do this, before they do that. It's a whole process. So my sister had a C-section, and I went down to stay with her and the baby, and my God, she had help. She had help from her in-laws. She had help. But in the night, since she had to sleep with the baby, I saw how tired she was. Like some mornings she was breastfeeding and nodding like this. That is when I actually knew that, oh, this thing can be tiring, eh? Okay, fast forward to 2020 when I had my own baby. My God, my husband will testify. I breastfeed sometimes, I hold her like this and sleep off. I sleep off because I've not slept. Maybe I have been lacking sleep. I've just slept that day for maybe 3 or 4 hours. And sometimes you might even hold the baby like that while breastfeeding, and then the baby falls off. So it's always good to try and give yourself rest. When the baby is sleeping, leave every other thing. If the house is scattered, if you've not cooked, if there are so many things that need to be done, once the baby is sleeping, try and rest. Try and rest. You need it. There are so many things that are going to look for a way and adjust themselves, okay? But you have to rest. You have to talk to people. You have to seek advice. You have to seek advice from people who have had babies before, how they used to do when they were faced with such difficult circumstances. In my case, I always talk to my elder sisters and my mother-in-law, as I always say in my videos. I always talk to them and try to find out what I can do. Before I used to have the anxiety before I had the baby, when I knew that it was a big baby, and when I thought that, oh my God, if I had a C-section, how am I going to do? When I just had the baby and I was scared of the unknown. How will I take care of this baby alone? I've never taken care of a baby before and stuff like that. So I had a lot to worry about. Then before the first week, she was fuzzy, she was not sleeping, she was crying, and sometimes my husband will look at me and he's helpless. Sometimes he's helpless. He cannot actually help me with the baby because maybe the baby is having a colic, and then he has tried to stop the baby but she keeps crying. I've tried to give the baby breast milk and she doesn't want to take it, and we are both just confused, and I'm there with the baby like this. At that point, you need support. You need to lean on each other. As partners, you have to lean on each other, because if you leave it on the other partner, there are days when she might just give up on that baby. I've spoken to a couple of friends who had babies with me, and they have equally explained to me that at times I cry. Sometimes I cried. That's anxiety, and it can lead to so many things. So if you're feeling it, you're not a strange person. If you're feeling it as an African woman, as a Cameroonian woman, if you're feeling depressed after you've had a baby, if you have that feeling of overwhelmness after you've had a baby, if you feel like, oh my God, I cannot do this again, it doesn't mean that you're a bad woman or you're a bad mother. That is something that happens to everybody when they have a baby, and your case is different. So talk to somebody before it gets out of hand. So guys, I hope this video helps somebody. I hope you understand more about the first months or the first weeks when you have a baby, and that you prepare yourself very well before having a baby. I hope that you understand all of this and you take precautions, you read books, you watch videos before you have a baby, so that you're going to be able to battle those things. The reason why I'm able to stand, the reason why I'm able to still smile, the reason why I'm able to love my baby so much and love my husband more even after the baby is because I had prepared myself for this. I had watched a lot of videos on YouTube and read a lot on the internet about this postpartum depression and anxiety. So I had tried to read about how to combat them in case I had them. So try and prepare yourself before you have a baby. If not, it's going to be a very overwhelming feeling for you after you've had the baby, and you might give up. Okay, I love you, and if you're pregnant, I pray for a safe delivery. It is a good experience. Don't be scared. Okay, don't be scared. I love you. Thank you for watching this video right up to the end. God bless you, and remember to talk to somebody and seek help if you're feeling anxiety and if you're feeling depressed after you've had a baby. Love you, and God bless you.